crystal chandeliers of the Grand Meridian Hotel cast dancing shadows across the marble floors as hundreds of elegantly dressed guests mingled beneath them. Ethan Rhodes stood near the bar, his tailored black tuxedo fitting him perfectly, his dark eyes scanning the crowd with the precision of a hawk. At 32, he had built an empire that stretched across 3 continents, but tonight was not about business. Tonight was about justice. 20-2 years ago, Ethan had been a 10-year-old boy watching his father crumble. James Rhodes had been a brilliant engineer with a promising tech startup, till his business partners Robert Sullivan and Gregory Blackwood had systematically stripped him of everything. They had manipulated contracts, stolen patents, and left James with nothing but debt and despair. Ethan still remembered finding his father in the garage that terrible morning. The life drained from his eyes along with his hope. His mother had never recovered, working 3 jobs to keep them afloat until cancer took her when Ethan was 17, but the boy who had nothing became a man who had everything. Ethan had clawed his way through college on scholarships, built his first company by 25, and sold it for $50 million by 28. Now, at 32, his net worth exceeded $2 billion. Every strategic move, every calculated risk, every sleepless night had been building toward this moment. He took a sip of his bourbon as his eyes found his target across the room. Arya Carter moved through the crowd with natural grace, her emerald green dress complementing her warm brown skin and dark curls that cascaded over her shoulders. She was laughing at something an elderly donor had said, her genuine smile lighting up her face. She had no idea who he was or what was coming. Arya Carter was Robert Sullivan's daughter, though she had taken her mother's maiden name after her parents divorced 10 years ago. At 26, she had already made a name for herself as one of the city's most sought-after event coordinators. She specialized in charity galas, which was how Ethan had maneuvered himself into tonight's event. As a major donor, he watched as she excused herself from the conversation and headed toward the terrace for some air. This was his moment. Ethan set down his glass and followed at a discreet distance. The terrace overlooked the city, lights twinkling like earthbound stars. Arya stood at the railing, breathing in the cool night air. She looked exhausted, despite her bright smile, and Ethan noticed the tension in her shoulders. "Quite a successful evening," he said, approaching casually. "You should be proud." Arya turned, her brown eyes meeting his with a mixture of surprise and professional warmth. "Thank you. Are you enjoying yourself, Mr. Rhodes?" "Ethan Rhodes." He extended his hand, watching her face carefully for any sign of recognition. There was none. Good. Robert had obviously never mentioned his father's name at home. "Arya Carter," she replied, shaking his hand. Her grip was firm, confident. "I saw your donation amount on the roster. That was incredibly generous. I believe in the cause. Education for underprivileged children resonates with me personally." That part was true. He had been one of those children once. They talked for nearly an hour. Ethan found himself genuinely engaged despite his ulterior motives. Arya was intelligent, passionate about her work, and refreshingly honest. She told him about her dream of opening her own event planning company that would focus exclusively on nonprofit organizations. Most planners chase corporate events because that is where the money is, she explained, her eyes sparkling with conviction. But nonprofits need professional help too, often more than anyone else. They are trying to change the world on shoestring budgets. "I want to be part of that. What is stopping you?" Ethan asked, though he already knew the answer. His research had been thorough. Arya's smile faltered slightly. "Capital, mainly. And my family's company is going through some difficulties right now. My father needs my help stabilizing things before I can branch out on my own." Ethan felt a twinge of something uncomfortable. Guilt, perhaps. He pushed it aside. "What if I told you I might be interested in investing in your vision?" Arya's eyes widened. "Seriously?" "I don't joke about business," Ethan said, which was true. "I have been looking to diversify my portfolio into socially conscious ventures. Your model is innovative and fills a genuine market gap. We should discuss this further. Are you free for lunch tomorrow?" They exchanged contact information, and as Arya returned to her hosting duties, Ethan remained on the terrace, Phase 1 was complete. He had established contact, sparked her interest, and positioned himself as a potential benefactor. The business partnership would give him access to Sullivan family gatherings,